before I forget. But as I was, thinking, and I was reviewing the notes, and I was going back, right, to see everything that we've covered. I'm like, the word that stuck to me out the most, and it was, like God was speaking to my spirit, is vision, right? If you guys don't remember the testimony that Anthony gave a couple of days back, right after he got back from Colombia, he was talking about how he had written down, right, that he wanted to be person, like he was not only going to be mentor, by the person that's mentoring right now, but that individual want to work with him. And I remember he wrote down that goal, right, that vision, about almost 3 years ago. I was right there next to him when he wrote it down. And that's just the goodness of God, because he does call us to write it down, right? In Habakkuk, and I actually was reading it this morning, Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 2, it says, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. And that really just truly filled my heart with lots of joy, because I said, wow, I mean, I was in the moment. I was right next to him when he wrote that goal down. And not only a goal, but that vision down, right? Where he wanted to be personally mentored by this individual, and that this individual will want to work directly with him. And now seeing, 3 years later, how time went by, right? So what does that mean? He wrote down the goal, he wrote down the vision, he made it plain for himself, he worked towards it, but he was what? He was patient. He was waiting. He waited 3 years for this vision to come to pass. And I'm sure here today you're waiting on something in your life to come to pass. I know I'm waiting on things in my life, on miracles in my life to come to pass and to be fulfilled. I'm waiting. And it brought me back to a topic that even Anthony also spoke about, is how do you wait? Because the moment you plant a seed, and the moment that you write down that vision, and the moment that you write down that goal, is not the moment that you're going to fulfill it. It's not the moment that you're going to achieve it. It takes a time. That's why it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. So it will happen. It does not lie, because a vision cannot lie, but it will take time. And so how do you wait during that time? Because I saw him, and it's not because I'm his partner, but I saw how he waited. I saw the hope with which he waited for. I saw the faith with which he waited for, not just because he wanted that vision to come to pass, but because here's the thing, God will put you in places, that God will bring people into your life for you to really achieve the vision that he has set before you. Like, he already prepared something for you, but in order for you to tap into that something he prepared for you, he has to prepare you. So he'll put you in places, he'll bring people into your life, he'll bring opportunities, right? He'll open doors, right? He'll open doors. And that's it's how you're able to discern all of those things while you're waiting for that miracle, for that thing that you're not only wishing, because we're not here to wish, right? We're hoping for, right? I believe in hoping. I don't believe in wishing. Wishing is just like, oh, I wish. No, I hope for it. I believe for it, right? And I myself, I'm not perfect. There's times where, my faith hasn't been the strongest, or I've been tested, right? And this past weekend, right, I actually had a revelation yesterday about my pastor, the pastor of our church. He spoke about waiting on miracles, right? So it was just like so beautiful to see that everything we've been speaking now, it just got literally put together yesterday for me in such a way where I'm not perfect, guys, right? I'm not perfect. I am a daughter of God, and I have the vision for my life to serve him in anything that I do, to put him first before my business, before my trading, before my education, before anything that I do. I'm going to put him first, and he's going to be at the center of everything that I do. So anything that I do honors him. If I'm doing something that doesn't honor him, then I'm not walking in truth. I'm not walking in, what he has called me to do, right? So my mission is to be that servant for him, to be that vessel, right? But I also live in a flesh. I also live in a body. So as even a daughter of God, I do get tested myself. Maybe you're there looking at me like, oh my God, Coach Anna, but like, how do you get tested? Guys, I'm a human being too. I get tested. I got a test this weekend, right? And it's because of the people that are in my life that are able to pour the word into me, that I was able to discern, wow, wow, like this is powerful what's happening, right? And yesterday I just love going into service, right? And not just being at church, but being in his house, right? And just receiving the message, right, of how you want to make sure that your vision is so strong that yesterday does. Like, you want to make sure that you are strengthened so much in his word, that that no matter what happens, no matter what mountain or what valley you walk through, what obstacle, whatever it is, you do know that the vision will come to pass. But you gotta work. And I love that he said yesterday, waiting, it's not passive, it's active. Because when you wait, it's not just standing in and sitting down on your couch and be like, okay, God, I'm waiting for you. I'll just sit here. No good. Oh, good. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to be here and I'm just going to look up the roof. No, it matters how you wait. And it brings me back to the representation of the testimony of Anthony, because I think that was one of the most powerful calls that we've had in Wake Up and Ascend in a long time, because it's a testimony. And God rejoices when brothers and sisters in Christ share testimonies. Trust me, he does. And just seeing and putting it all together, it's like, I saw how he waited. I saw the action that he took. I saw the commitment that he had. I saw the discipline. I saw the desires. Like I'm not stopping, no matter how tough things got. And trust me, they got tough a lot of times. Anthony kept going. He kept working. He kept believing. He kept putting God first, which is before anything else. See him every day, how he goes to honor God and how he goes to seek him out. And then he goes to do his business. And then he goes to develop leaders. And then he goes to do everything else. I saw him how he waited. I saw it. So it's like, it's an evidence. It just made it so clear for me as I was just thinking about all these things. And I just said, wow, that's why it's even biblical. Like, we don't tell you guys here on this calls, write your goals down, right? Just because we want to tell you guys, is everything that we say we do in this cause, in this community of Wake Up and Ascend, is with an intention. And if you don't believe me, I actually rather you don't believe me, believe the word. It says it very clear that we got to write the vision down. If he wouldn't have written that vision down 3 years ago, do you think he would be experiencing all the goodness that God has been doing in his life? I don't think so. Because here's the thing. Another thing that I love from that my pastor said yesterday is, God loves for you to articulate what is it that you want to him. He already knows the desires of your heart. He already knows. He already knows what you want. He already knows that you want that house, that you want financial freedom, that you want stability for your family. He already knows what you want. But here's the thing. He loves, he rejoices, he actually enjoys when you articulate with words out loud to him, what is it that you want? Because it's saying, God, before I go pursue this is what I want. So I'm going to bring it to you, not just for approval, but for you to bless it. If you don't bless it, then that means that's not for me. And how would you know if what you want is what God wants for you? The only way that you could know is if you bring it to him, right? But you know that what you want comes from God, because he'll give you the vision. He'll make it very clear. All he's telling you and all he's calling you to do is to write it down, make it clear, make it evident, so you can run towards the vision, right? And you can be in full execution. Here's the thing. If you don't write the vision down, how can you be prepared to execute? You'll be executing, you'll be taking action, but you wouldn't even know where you're going. I saw Anthony for the past 3 years. I'm telling you right now, if you would see what I saw and you would know what I know of what he's been through this past 3 years, you would be like, wow. All of that and here's the thing. The vision is just starting. Like, the fulfillment of the vision is just like, I'm seeing so much fruits come into his life in so many areas. How God calling me even to start this Wake Up and Ascend, and here we are now. We've been growing the community. People are deciding to follow Jesus on Wake Up and Ascend, and it's just so many different things because he wrote it down. I've experienced so many things in my life because I wrote it down. I wrote it down. And there's something else, and I'm talking to you guys from the heart, really, because I'm telling you guys right now, I put it all together, right? When I found that I was doing this call, I was just thinking of what was my favorite topic of this month. And it really was our call, right? Of that testimony of Anthony. And like I said, the word that kept coming into my spirit was vision. And we always have to understand something, that God will give us a vision, but we determine what pace we want to get there towards that vision. Have you guys ever heard that, we can sometimes delay the blessing because of what we think or what we speak or how we act? Like it's evident, and I'm not here to tell you that I'm perfect in that, because I've experienced times where I've been like, God, like I'm and I haven't spoken the right words, and this just comes to show you I am not perfect. I'm looking to be perfect in Him, but I'm obviously giving this testimony because He'll always correct you, right? He'll always correct you. He'll make it clear that if you continue to speak those words, it's no wonder why you get where you're getting what you're getting, right? Like, there comes a point in time where you have to look back in your life, not just to go back into the past, but just to realize, look how far God has taken you, right? If you're not yet where you want to be, that's fine. That just has to be that you got to do the best that you can, to the best of your abilities. If you're not giving your 100%, and I noticed it this weekend, I'm like, I'm not giving my 100%. I need to give my 100%. I really did. I really need to, because I know that by me giving you my 100%, I'm surrendering to you, and I'm giving to you what I can't control, what it's not in my control, what I cannot do, right? Like, what we can do is fulfill that vision from one day to another. That's not in our power. That's not in our control. That's not in our time. That's in His time, right? So that's why it's so clear to us that we got to write it down. We got to make it plain, and we will run towards for those who read it, because a vision is for an appointed time, right? And at the end, it will speak and it will not lie. So what does that mean? Like, whatever you write down, whatever the vision that God put in your heart or your life, whatever vision He spoke to you, and He'll make it very clear, it won't lie to you. Like, here's the thing. The enemy doesn't know our thoughts, but he'll make us think stuff, right? He'll put little things in our mind so that way we can speak it, and when we speak it, he'll like, oh, I got them, so let me keep on going with them, and he'll make you speak the wrong things so that the vision that God put in your life does not come to pass. And it's not because God is allowing that, it's because you're allowing that. It has happened to me before. I'm not here to be Mrs. Perfect and say it hasn't happened to me. And I got corrected by God. He'll correct you, but it's not to punish you because you spoke the wrong things. And it's to actually help you. It's to actually be like, if you keep speaking that, you will delay the blessing. But if you keep speaking that, you're gonna keep believing the lies of the enemy, and you're not going to work with the fullest potential that I have for you. Imagine him telling you that. I literally imagine him telling me that, like, the past 48 hours in my life. And it just comes to show you that the vision won't lie. The enemy will lie to you. The enemy will try to steal away the vision God gave you. But the vision that He spoke it to you, the vision that God spoke, will never lie. And it will never tarry. The only way it can tarry is if you go here. This is a vision. This is the narrow path that God wants you to walk on. And this is you. And you stray away from it. That's the only way. That's the only way. So that's why every day I'll wake up and I'll pray and I'll say, you know what? I just pray that you fortify my vision. I pray that I behave like a Christian. Going back to the topic that Anthony spoke about, right? About behaving like a Christian, right? About how is it that you wait? Being obedient in the waiting, right? And obedient in the waiting means that you have to actively pursue, right? What is it that God has put in your life while you wait? If God called you to be a leader, you have to do the things that leader would do until you get to where God spoke to you. If God spoke to you, you're going to be a diamond, you got to behave like a diamond right now. You got to work as if. You got to grind as if. You got to believe like it, as if. If God called you to be a six-figure earner trader, or whatever the case may be, maybe you have other businesses, or maybe you're not even in this style of business. It does not matter. Whatever God's spoken to you, you know. And so today, just let it be a reminder that that is an active step in your faith. And I needed to be reminded of that. And you know what's a beautiful thing and the foundation of everything? Your passion. If you ever feel like you lack vision, it's because you lack passion. And don't get that from me. I actually got that from the pastor yesterday. But here's the thing. When I put it all together this morning, and it was just, this is literally so beautiful to even witness myself. I'm like, that's the passion with what Anthony waited for. The passion never faded. The passion never left. The passion was always there. I would see it. I see it still until today. Up until today, I see that passion. I see the passion with he wakes up every morning and he goes to work, not for himself, not for his glory, but for God's glory. I see the passion. So it's evident to me that the reason why he knows where he's going is because he's being obedient, because he's seeking out God, but because most importantly, he has a passion that fuels his vision every single day. And it makes it clear. God makes it clear. And then boom, 3 years later, this is where we are. 3.5 years later. I don't even know how much time has passed, but I know it's been a long time. So let this be a reminder today that whatever you are not wishing, whatever you're hoping for, whatever you're waiting for, wait for it. But do everything that you can while you wait for it. You know exactly right now, what is it that you're waiting for? You know. But you cannot wait sitting down and looking at the sky and saying, God, I'm waiting here for you to move in my life. Because then we're not being obedient to his calling. He wants to see how we wait for what he has in store for us. He wants to see what we do with what he gives us. Sometimes we're thinking of, and this is a great reminder to myself as well, because sometimes we're seeing, oh, we don't have this, and we don't have that, and we don't have this, but we are missing this. And we sometimes say to ourselves all the things that we don't have, not noticing the things that we already have that God gave us, and he has called us to maximize that. And I remember in this past month, we spoke about maximizing what God gave you. We spoke about how is it that you wait? It's not just the end result, it's how you wait for that end result. With what expectation do you wait? Because again, I'm not here to tell you to write down something, oh, I'm going to become a millionaire next month. Because when that doesn't happen, you'll be so disappointed that you won't choose to believe anymore on the vision. I still, up until today, I speak, I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. I've been speaking that for the past 4 years. Has it happened? No. Right now, physically, but it's already done. It's already created. I know it's already done. It's something that it's already created. It's just, I'm waiting for the appointed time for it to come to pass. But I know with what God's doing in my life and the tests I've had and the challenges I've had and the doors opening and the doors closing that I've had in my life this past couple weeks, I know that he's just preparing everything, right? Because he will always prepare us for what he has prepared for us. But now, one thing that I do want you to realize or think is ask yourself questions, evaluate yourself. I asked myself these 3 questions yesterday at night, right? Before I went to bed. In my mind, I was just like, how am I waiting? Is how I'm waiting pleasing God, or is not disappointed? Because, I don't believe God will ever be disappointed, but at a certain point, God won't be like so happy with your actions, right? If you're just there, like not doing anything, he'll be like, come on, like I did not call you for this. I called you for so much more, right? But I asked myself, how are you waiting, Anna? Are you waiting with, patience? Are you waiting with work? Are you taking action while you're waiting? How are you waiting? How are you waiting? I asked myself this question yesterday. And then the other question I asked is, what am I waiting for? Because imagine if Jesus came to you right now and told you, what do you want? Just imagine, like he would tell you, what do you want? Or what do you need? Or what are you waiting for? Or what is it that you need me to do? He already knows, but just imagine him coming to you and telling you that. Because if he were to go to Anthony right now, Anthony will let him know exactly what he wants. He would know. If he would come to me, now that I asked myself this question yesterday, I know exactly what I'm waiting for. I know exactly what I want. I would be able to tell him very clear. And that's the most powerful thing, because you already have the vision clear. If you're able to answer that question like this, not making it up, because you can't make up a vision, right? Then your steps are not going accordingly to what God has called you. But if you're able to answer that question, just imagine God knows already the answer to that question, but he wants you to articulate it to him. He wants you to make it plain, because as we've been learning as well in this past couple of calls we've done, we've emphasized the importance of what future is, and it's the moment following the moment you speak or write something. So that's why it has to be very clear. What vision do you want? So because when you write it down, that's what's going to happen. When you speak it, that's what's going to happen. This past weekend I got reminded about the importance of words. We can get so distracted and not realize the power and just the weight of what our words really have. Like the weight of our words, they can literally create or destroy. So I'm telling you right now as a testimony of somebody that it has happened in my life. I've seen things that I've spoken, that I've written down, happen in my life, but I was able to experience the goodness of the testimony of Anthony by being by his side and seeing it, right? Seeing it. So he can't come and tell you it's how you wait, because I saw him waiting. I saw him with the faith. I saw him have the vision very clear, making it plain, writing it down every day, and not only believing but working towards it, like actively working towards it, right? And one of the greatest things that I know for a fact that has brought me most joy in all this topic that we've had here today, and most importantly as well, going back and seeing everything that we've been reviewing and we've been covering here in Wake Up and Ascend, is the importance of just really living now by faith. Is living now by faith. Because here's the thing, you writing down your vision, when Anthony wrote down his vision 3.5 years ago, he had faith that it will come to pass. He had the hope that in the future, that's something that was going to happen 100%. Could he see it in that moment because it was happening at that exact moment physically? No, but it was already created. It was already done. He was writing it down. He was making it plain. So he had to walk by faith, because if he would have walked by sight with all the things that he was going through and all the things that he went through, he would have given up on the vision. And let this serve as a reminder to you and to me to walk by faith every day, because the vision is yet for an appointed time. So we got to wait. We got to wait. We got to do everything that we can, everything that is humanly possible, because what's not humanly possible, we got to leave it to him, because he will do the impossible possible. And if you believe that, drop amen in the chat. He'll do the impossible possible, but we got to do what's possible for us. Like you got to do whatever it takes to the best of your ability. You got to give it your all. You got to put it all on the field. You got to leave it all on the field. Like, like soccer players sometimes say, like, oh, I left my heart on the field, like everything. It's like that. You have to put it all. You got to give it your all. You got to put it your all, like everything of you. Everything that you can do, and what you cannot do, you leave it up to him, but you keep waiting, you keep hoping, you walk by faith, and you know for a fact that that vision will come to pass. If your vision is to become a 6-figure earner in your company, guess what? Write it down. Make it plain every day. Not just write it down one time and then not write it down another time. You got to write it down every day. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. because you got to make it clear and evident all day, every day. The grace of God yesterday is not sufficient for today. Today he'll give you more. So whatever challenge you encounter today, you already have your vision. You already wrote it down. You already are believing for it. You already have it in your heart. You can go throughout your day and you can face whatever you can face, but you will be strong and courageous because you know where you're going. You know the vision. You wrote it down. You have it plain. Like nobody that will try to come and make you convince you otherwise. They're not going to win. The enemy won't win. And I love that, Wake Up NSN happened the way it happened today, because this is really a big reminder to myself too. And I just pray that you received value, that you received encouragement, but most importantly, that you remind yourself to ask yourself those questions. How am I waiting? What am I waiting for? Is how I'm waiting pleasing God? Because if the answer to that question is no, then we got some work to do, right? And guess what? Besides all of that, one of the most beautiful things that I would tell you to do is to not just rate yourself, but hey, like be honest with yourself, because that's the starting point of you being able to change things around. If you're not really actively waiting, then you gotta actively wait. You gotta do the work. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. We can't just sit down and do nothing. And I love today because it's a big reminder to myself as well. And I hope you guys receive value. We're gonna go ahead and write down our goals. So let's make sure that we separate the next 5 minutes, all right, 5-7 minutes to write it down. All right, write it down. And just make sure that we make it plain. Make sure that we make it plain. Make sure that we make it evident that we also articulate. So another thing I want you guys to do is once you write down your goals 10 times, make sure to articulate, say it out loud, go in front of the mirror, say it out loud, say it to yourself, say it to God, pray about it, pray about your goals, pray for your goals, right? Like, cause you're actively bringing that to God and say, hey, this is what I want, God, I'm bringing it to you. Can you, and if God blesses, he knows it's for you. If God doesn't want to bless it, it's because it's not for you, right? And we got to realize and remember that whatever we have is more than enough, is more than enough. And if he gave us something, we got something to work with, and we can maximize that something he gave us, even if it looks very little. If you think it's just the smallest of the seeds, he'll turn that seed into a huge garden if you water it and you plant it and you take care of it. And we've been learning all of those principles in Wake Up NSN, guys. So everything we talk about today in Wake Up NSN has been a collection of everything we've been speaking. And it's been at the center of how to really live by faith, not by sight, and how to make sure to maximize the vision and the purpose that God has given you for your life. So I'm going to go ahead and put the goals. Don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap up with a prayer at the end, but just make sure to
in just over 2 minutes, I'm going to show you how I created this
take advantage of this time where you can write down your goals and be intentional. And we'll be back here in just a little bit to wrap up with a prayer and go throughout our day. So let's go ahead and write down our goal.
Now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis.